Okay, we are officially recording. Welcome to the team, everybody. I'm going to mute everybody real quick so we don't have all the background noise. And I just want to say thank you guys for hopping on the call today. And I want to give a special thanks to Doug, who I'll introduce more thoroughly in just a minute. But he just landed on a plane like 15 minutes ago, rushed to a hotel, and he's here for us last minute. So shout out to Doug for making that happen for us. And then I want to go over a couple of reminders real quick that you guys mark your calendar for Super Saturday. I know it's a little ways out, but I want to make sure that you guys have it in your calendar and that you're prepared for it, that you're talking about it, that you're talking to your friends about it, that you're talking about to your teams about it, your customers, your challengers, and you're inviting everybody to get to their local Super Saturday. It will be April 8th. So April 8th in your local area. You'll just want to go to the Coach FAQ, search April 2017 Super Saturday. There'll be a link for the interactive map to find your location, and those will pop up as they get registered. I'll be in New York with David Atkins and the council there. So if you're anywhere near New York, that's where I'm going to be at this Super Saturday. Also, I want you guys to make note that, and this is probably the most important one, is that the Team Cup registration has extended to today. It was going to be yesterday, but they have extended a registration to today. And if you're hopping on late right now, we started forming a team. Shanti is going to be forming a team. And so if you're on this call, Shanti is going to be forming a team and you can be able to join with her. And if something happens and you're not able to get on a team today and coordinate and make that happen, there is a matchmaker that you can search the FAQ for the matchmaker for Team Cup and you'll be able to find it. If not, I'll drop the link in the team call right after this so you guys can get on a team call. Our team is called the Team Shakeology Cup. That's our team name. We're going to crush it. We all have a goal of SC25 for the month, and we're going to really bring it. So we're excited about that. I counted between our personally sponsored coaches. I believe 12 teams formed as of yesterday, which I'm super excited about. But we can do better than that. I want 20 by the end of the day today. So get with your coaches, get with your teams, and let's or get on the matchmaker, and let's get you guys on a team. The other note that I wanted to make, aside from the Team Cup registration ending today and then Super Saturday on that April 8th, is that we have Coach Summit coming up. And it's going to come faster than you know it because it's only 5 months and 11 days away. 5 months and 11 days away. So Coach Summit is in New Orleans. If you're not registered for Coach Summit or you don't know what that is, please reach out to me, reach out to your coach. Let's talk about it. Let's make sure that we get your ticket there. And then let's set some goals over the next 5 months to hit Success Club, earn Challenge Pack commissions, earn commissions for getting people on all access, demand, year access. And let's save up those commissions and get your plane ticket to Summit. Summit has been a game changer for thousands of coaches. It's like the moment where they really get a switch turned on in their mind that really helps them believe this is possible for them, and they go on to do some pretty awesome things. So we want you guys there. We had about 1,500 coaches with us at Summit last year. We want you guys at Summit with us this year. It's probably been one of the biggest keys to success in my business is getting to Summit and getting my coaches to Summit. So I'm encouraging you guys to get yourself and your coaches to Summit. Amy's asking when Summit is. It's the last week of July, or not last week of July. It's July 13th through the 16th of 2017. July 13th through the 16th of 2017. So with that being said, I'm going to turn the time over to Doug Moss. He works for the corporate team. He is my corporate mentor. He's from Idaho Falls, like myself, and he's going to share some things with us, help kick our butts into gear. So, Doug, I'm going to unmute you, and you can take it away, man.
All right. Thank you, Scotty. Well, I love the permission to kick your butt and, drive hard, so we're good. Guys, it's really unusual to, obviously, I'm from Idaho, as is Scotty, and that's not normal. I mean, for a company as big as Beachbody, to have, corporate from Idaho and Scotty's from Idaho, But I will tell you that there's just something about Idaho that teaches people how to work. And I really believe that. And I know that because I've moved to other states and I've run into especially kids that struggle. And it's like, man, you got to get out in the field and do something. Anyway, Scotty's phenomenal. He's a great leader. And I really do appreciate his drive and getting you guys together on this call. I love that Scotty did the announcements. I hope you guys understand that the reason the company is running all these promotions and all these activities and has all this stuff lined up early in the year is so that you'll have every tool available to you to succeed with your Beachbody business. So Scotty mentioned I've been traveling today. Yesterday morning, I flew from Salt Lake to Houston, Texas, and did an elite training last night, teaching coaches how to hit elite. And I actually got up early this morning, flew from Houston to to Atlanta, and then just landed in Indianapolis, where I'm doing an elite training again tonight. But what you have to understand about elite, guys, and I think my biggest takeaway from these meetings is we have a lot of coaches who are doing a lot of good work and helping a ton of people. And you're kind of going through the motions and you're doing all the activity. And what I'm taking away from the training is I'm not asking people to do more. I'm actually asking you to just be smarter. And, because there's a lot of people who put, 2-3 hours a day into their Beachbody business, and they may not be accomplishing all their goals. And I'm just telling you that if you'll realign what your activities are, accomplishing your goals becomes much easier. I had a coach last night in Houston that, we were going through the meeting. We did the elite training. At the end, she just, was sitting in the back row, and she stayed after and was just kind of taking notes and writing things down. And as I was walking out, I said, so what did you think? Did I confuse you? Are you okay? And her response was, I had no idea it was that easy. And I was like, wait, what do you mean easy? I don't want you to take away that it's easy. She goes, no. I get that it's work. But what I didn't know is that if I just do the fundamentals of this business, I can succeed. And so what you have to know, guys, and I break it down when I do my elite training, but what you guys need to understand is in order for you to be an elite coach, and quite honestly, for you to be a successful Beachbody coach, there's really 3 things you have to do, okay? And they're simple, and you know what they are. The first thing you have to do is you have to hit Success Club. Now, why Success Club? Well, Success Club it's evidence that you're open for business, that you're helping people, that you're actually doing the things that you're setting out to do. You're doing the things that you're posting on social media. You're living the activities and being able to influence others and bring them in to be able to run your challenge groups and to help others. And please understand that you hitting Success Club, all that is the company's way of tracking that activity. Jeff Hill, I was in a meeting with him the other day. We had a coach retreat in the office, and somebody said, so Jeff, Success Club, I don't understand. And Jeff just kind of said, well, let me just stop you. He goes, I wish we hadn't named it Success Club. He goes, honestly, one of these days we're going to change the name because it's not right. I mean, it ought to be called the Helping 3 People Club, or the, something about helping people, because that's what it is. The only reason we have Success Club is that's the way to track and be able to see what you guys are doing and be able to understand the activities that people are doing to have success with their business. So that's the first thing. You got to hit Success Club. The second thing, fundamental again, you're a business leader. You have to be able to sign coaches, okay? Meaning, this is a business of you trying to build volume. If you understand what network marketing is, you'll understand. And quite honestly, when I start my trainings, when I talk about elite, I ask for permission because I want you guys to understand that as a Beachbody coach, you are a coach. First and foremost, that's what you are. You're a coach. You're helping others. You're working with people. You're mentoring them. You're helping them in their fitness journey. But then you're also a CEO of your own business, meaning, so you kind of got these 2 hats. You've got your coach hat where you're out there, you're working with people and helping them accomplish their goals. Then you've got this CEO hat on where it's like, hey, this is your business, your responsibilities. And you have to understand that at Beachbody, I can assure you, we run our KPIs, our key performance indicators. We're paying attention to the things that we know drive the results that the company is shooting for. For example, Team Cup is a goal that we have as a goal. We're trying to get to 9,000 teams because we know if we can get to 9,000 cup teams, that's going to give us the army that we need in February to reach the goals we're trying to accomplish. So you're seeing that today is a huge push on social media. You know, Carl's already gone live on the wall once today. He's gone live the last 2 or 3 days on the champions page because we are trying to reach our goals and we're driving towards our key performance indicators, which is a business term of what are the things, the metrics I use to accomplish my goals? Well, you guys are CEOs of your business. You have to be able to say, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is my business. What are my key performance indicators? Well, one of them is Success Club, right? I mean, that's one that you're saying, man, if that's the goal I have, that's the minimum I have to do as in order to grow my business. Another one is I have to sign coaches. I have to come up with a way to get people to understand the opportunity of being a coach. And when you can dial that in and get people to do that, the third one is just now I got to get my coaches to hit Success Club. So those are the three things that when you get and you break down the fundamentals of this business, number one is hit Success Club yourself. Number two is you have to sign coaches. And number three is you get your coaches to hit Success Club. Now you might be saying, well, Doug, that's too simple. That's too easy. Guys, if you understand what goes into those three things, you know what? Scotty Hobbs is one of the top coaches in the network. He's been top 10 coach. He's always in the top 50. Guys, the reason Scotty's there is he's better at those three things than you guys are. And what's crazy is, he says, I mentor him. Guys, it's the same conversation I'm having with you. Scotty, how's Success Club? Where are you at? Scotty, how many coaches did you sign this month? Where are you at? Scotty, what's going on with your personally sponsored coaches and how are you mentoring them to reach their goals and hitting Success Club? Now, it goes on beyond that where you start talking about star diamonds and leaders and, other things that drive volume. But in the beginning, understand that this is a business that you guys are coaches. You're the CEO of your world. And you have to know that your goals have to align with your activities. Now, that's up to you what your goals are. You get to set them. But I can tell you that those three things are the fundamental basis for every compensation plan that we have and for everything that ties into our recognition plan. Now, you do know the Beachbody has two things. Beachbody has a compensation plan. We also have a recognition plan. The comp plan are the activities that you do. This is how you get paid as a coach. The recognition plan is built in order to drive the compensation plan. Everything we do drives to the compensation plan. So when I meet with coaches, it's a big deal for them to understand, hey, these are the three things you have to focus on. These are the three things you're going to learn how to do. And you're going to decide for yourself where you're putting your time and how you're going to reach your goals based on those three activities. Now, let's just be clear. When you became a Beachbody coach, some of you might be really new and some of you might have been here 2 years, 3 years, whatever. Understand that you all came in with some level of confidence in this business, okay? Let's say you talked to Scotty and said, I just want to be a coach. I don't care. No challenge group, nothing. Then your confidence came in at this minimum level. Let's say that you talked to Scotty and Scotty said, Doug, I can help you lose 15 pounds. Join my challenge group. I go through a challenge group. At the end of the challenge group, I've lost my 15 pounds. Now I want to be a coach. Well, I might enter with a little higher confidence than had I not been through a challenge group because now I know a little bit more. Everything Scotty just mentioned, Super Saturday, Team Cup, Summit, all these things are building your confidence in what you're doing, okay? Every single goal, you guys, when you do your first post on social media, when you sign your first coach from your warm market, man, when you sign your first coach from your cold market, every one of those activities is building your confidence in your goals and in what you're trying to accomplish. The reason I bring that up is you guys have got to say, this is my goal. This is where I'm trying to get to. How am I going to build my confidence up to where I know I can accomplish that goal? And I can tell you that if you start to align your activity with the goal. Now, coaches always say to me, Doug, I'm so busy. I'm working with my team. I've got a graph that I'll show that talks about time management. And I actually learned it with a conversation with Brigitte. And I was talking to Brigitte one day and I said, Brigitte, dude, so I actually asked her to come and do a presentation for the company. We do what's called a quarterly business review. And I had Brigitte come in to be my presenter at that meeting. And when Brigitte came in, what she was training on was her typical day. And at that meeting, Brigitte said, my typical day essentially breaks into two pieces: my recruiting activity, my team activity. So everything that has to do with everyone who's a coach and everything that has to do with everyone who's not yet a coach. And so that's how she divides her day. She said, I'm a 15-star diamond, and I'm essentially 50% recruiting and 50% working with my team. And I was like, man, that's awesome. It's awesome to have that kind of dialed in. At the time, she had told me at the time she was working 6 hours a day in her Beachbody business. And so that was 3 hours with one and 3 hours with the other. And so I, kind of took it back, and I talked to other 15 stars, and I said, man, where do you spend your time? What are you doing, with your time management? And most of the 15 stars, high ranking coaches are in that same room. Well, I got to put half of my time, I have to schedule half my time recruiting, and then the half of my time is spent working with my team. And I said, okay, that's brilliant. And then I started to look at, hey, I got 2 stars, 5 stars, 10 stars, and we got all these coaches in the network that are somehow they're dividing their time. And so I would go out and I would talk to diamonds, and I would meet with a diamond, and I would say, how do you divide your time? And they would generally say, dude, I worked really hard to get to diamond. Once I got to diamond, it's amazing. My team takes so much of my time. And I said, what does that mean? And they would say, generally, after I broke it down to them, they'd say, man, I'm like 20% recruiting, 80% with my team. And I said, that's great. I mean, what a great team. You must be putting a lot of time into them. They must be advancing, so you've got lots of great activity. Well, after kind of hearing that for a while, I was like, man, something's wrong. If a 15 star is still putting 50% of their time into recruiting and 50% of their time in their team, why would a diamond be 80% team, and 20% recruiting? So I was like, man, I got to figure this out. Well, guys, the only other number I know for sure is coach. So I got 15 stars down at the bottom. I got coach up here at the top. When you signed up as a new coach, there was 0 by your team, right? There's nobody there. You were 100% recruiting and 0% with your team. Now, when I figured that out, I was like, man, well, then this just makes total sense. At diamond, maybe I'm 90-10. At 2-star, I'm 80-20. At 5-star, I'm 70-30. At 10-star, I'm 60-40. And then at 15-star, I'm 50-50. Does that make sense? So if you start looking at it, if I'm 100% recruiting as a coach, 0% as again, 0% with my team because I don't have a team at new coach, and I start to bend that down to where it goes 100, 90, 80, 70, 60, 50, and this side goes 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Now, all of a sudden, I can go back up to diamond and say, man, a diamond should be in that 90-10. Now, is it an exact science? Absolutely not. But, dude, if you're 20-80, you're out of balance. If you're, in the 80, 70, 90% recruiting and, 10, 20, 30% with your team, now you're making – that seems to make more sense to me. Meaning that when you go diamond, it doesn't flip, okay? So when I looked at that and you understand time management and you really start to dial in, what am I doing? How am I spending it? Guys, it doesn't matter. I think the percentages hold true if you're putting in an hour a day, 30 minutes a day, or 5 hours a day. It doesn't matter. You need to figure out your percentages and try and stay true to it. Because what happens is we have way too many coaches that get to diamond or hit some level of income or whatever. They start making $100 a week or $50 a week or whatever, and their activities switch to where now they're spending all this time with their team and they're not doing the recruiting activities. Well, guess what happens? Their business doesn't grow. Things start to slow down. They're not, they're on the phone with their team all day, every day. And then they get burned out because, man, nothing's happening. Everything's going backwards. Nobody's growing. Well, you need to understand that when I say you got to get good at hitting Success Club, that's through signing customers and coaches. It's not all about coaches with Success Club. It is both. And you've got to figure out how you're going to do both. But you got to understand that those two activities are so important because guess what? That's what you're asking your team to do. Remember number 3? We're asking them to hit Success Club. And guys, if you think your team doesn't see you not introducing new people to the team, you're crazy. They are fully aware of the activities that you're doing building this business. And so you guys need to figure out how you're going to align this. Now, let's say I am working an hour a day. I'm doing 1 hour committed Beachbody time every single day. Well, man, if I'm 90% of 1 hour, well, an hour is 60 minutes. That means I got 6 minutes with my team and 54 minutes recruiting, right? If I'm 20, then that puts 12 minutes with my team. What is that? 48 minutes recruiting. And I want you to understand that's the kind of detail you need to have, because here's what happens. You get this team and you get 2 or 3 coaches that literally will chew up that entire hour. If you'll let them, the hour will be gone. And you didn't get one step closer to your goals. You know, and I always use Scotty as example, and it's not a good example. I always say to coaches, like, listen, if you spend an hour a day and it's your Beachbody time and you're watching Scotty Hobbs YouTube videos, you're not accomplishing your goal. Like I do that. I've lost an hour in Scotty Hobbs videos. Like, I've done that. And it's like, guys, Scotty is fantastic. But if you're going to have this job and you're going to sacrifice time from your spouse, your kids, your job to build your Beachbody business, then whatever that time is, put it into the activities that get you paid. Now, that might sound like, wow, I can't believe he's saying this. But guys, I want you to understand, put your CEO hat on. This is your board meeting, and we're sitting down saying, hey, I have a goal I want to accomplish. And based on my goal, these are the activities that are going to get me there. You know, when I meet with coaches, this is all about helping people. And you can't say that that's not what this is about. That's the vision. That's the dream. That's what everything the company is aligned with is, how do we help people reach their goals? But I also know that it's a business, and that Beachbody as a company, there has to be a revenue opportunity for coaches to do the activities that they're doing. You know, when I travel around and meet with leaders, I'll say to them, you know, what are your goals? Probably 95% of the time when I write down their goals, the first goal has something to do with income. Well, I want to pay off a credit card. Well, I need to make a car payment. Well, I want to make $100 a week. I want to make $500 a week. 9 times out of 10, it goes back to that. And I'll be honest, if a coach says to me, you know, it's all about helping people, generally speaking, I'll say, oh, what is your husband? He makes $200,000 a year. Yep. Okay. I got it. Like generally speaking, if your goal isn't about income, generally speaking, it's because you don't have that need. You don't have that why to drive the income. So I'm telling you that, guys, if your goal is to be a Beachbody coach and to have this help you, you know, we talk about the mission is to help people lead a healthy, fulfilling life. Well, fulfilling is, you know, how do we help you reach not only your fitness goals, but also your business goals? And if we can dial in your business goals and help you reach them, now all of a sudden you're going to continue to drive and you're going to help others, and the whole thing continues to cycle. I mean, Scotty Hobbs is an amazing leader. You guys are on obviously one of the best teams in the network. You should absolutely, you need to understand that when we travel around, I'll get coaches like Scotty's going to New York City to train at Super Saturday. And I'll have, Daniel Natoni from Dallas is going to Vancouver, Washington. What's funny about that, or Vancouver, Canada. What's funny about that is if you guys had Scotty Hobbs on your video today training you, you would go, that's just Scotty. But if I put Daniel Natoni on this call and said, Scotty, write her speech for her and she'll deliver it, you guys would take 10 pages of notes because it didn't come from Scotty. But you need to understand that you have one of the top leaders in the network that knows how to build this business, and you need to make sure that you understand to get your questions answered from Scotty, okay? Don't miss it. Don't overthink this business. When you're starting out as a coach, this is checkers versus chess. You are playing checkers. I love the Beachbody comp plan because it's so simple. I love the recognition programs because they're very simple. You need to know that as you start this business, you are playing checkers. It's, it's a binary. When I signed up, I got 2 legs. I have a right leg and I have a left leg. Oh, I got my spouse. Okay, I grew a 3rd leg. That's my entire business. My placement strategy is some over here, some over there, maybe down there, some over here, some over there, maybe down. What happens is when you become Scotty Hobbs, now you're playing chess. Because now you've got multiple legs, multiple business centers, your spouse may have another business center. It complicates itself over the course of time. But you guys, as you're starting out with this business, understand, don't overcomplicate it, don't overthink it, don't overtrain it. Get back to the fundamentals of well, number one, build your confidence, but then how do you hit Success Club? How do I sign coaches? And how do I get my coaches to Success Club? And if we can get those three things ironed out, I'll even give you this. When you start out as a coach, those three things are in order, meaning you got to get good personally at hitting Success Club before you get good at signing coaches. So now I dialed in, I can hit Success Club. I've got that. My social media works. I'm able to get challengers into challenge groups. Man, now I've got to figure out, how do I sign, 2 to 5 coaches a month? What does that look like? Man, I got to run my challenge groups, add enough value to these people that they understand what it is to be a coach. Now I'm good at signing coaches. Then your next step is, man, how do I get my coaches to hit Success Club? And each of you is sitting here at some level of confidence in those three things. And please understand, it's okay. You're all going to get there. I mean, Scotty is, obviously he's got all three of those dialed in. He gets it. But he didn't start there. Like understand, he started where you are. And he had to go through this to figure out this business. Okay? My daughter has a T-shirt that says, New Year, New Boys, right? For me, I change it to say New Year, New Goals, right? Because, guys, here we are. We're at the start of 2017. The slate is clean. What are you going to do? And I can tell you, if you haven't taken a look at the Premier program and then the Elite program, I think you're crazy. I honestly do. To me, both of those programs reward the activities of hitting Success Club, signing coaches, and getting your coaches to hit Success Club. That's what the programs are built upon. So to me, if you'll go get there's a brand new Premier Goal Guide. If you can't get it, reach out to your sales team member. Man, if you're in the Central region, Sydney Maurer, Joe Carden. If you're in the West, Mary Day and Brittany Adamson. The other teams, if you need it, message me. I'll help you figure it out. There's a Premier Goal Guide. The difference between Elite and Premier is two things. Number one is Premier is a 2-star goal in December of this year. You have to be a 2-star. Number two, you have no caps on where your points come from. So Premier is a great goal. So if that's where you're headed, then understand, let's set the goal. Let's align our activities for that goal. If we want to go for Elite this year, okay, we got to figure out how we're going to get to 5-star at the end of the year. But we have to figure out how we're going to drive the activities to get the 135 points in Success Club. And the way I hit Success Club is with customers and coaches, because this year in the Elite program, we've added a point category for your customers. In the past, we've never recognized or rewarded customer signups or selling challenge packs to customers and getting them into challenge groups. That now counts towards Elite this year. Signing coaches, that's your PSPV category. And then the fourth, then the Success Club category is your personally sponsored coaches from last year and this year. Those that hit Success Club count for you towards that points and helps you build points in that category. The fourth category is ATV. I won't even get into it because I don't think you need to worry about it. If you'll do the first three activities, which are the first three things I've talked about, ATV, we'll look at that number in July, August, and we'll look at how you're doing and we'll figure out how to line it up. But guys, 2017, new goals. You've got the cup. Hopefully you're all on cup teams. You should be building as many teams as you can, because the more people that participate, the more likely they are to go after a prize. You need to understand that if you'll line up your goals with these activities, you can accomplish anything you want this year. We have had coaches that became a coach in January and hit Elite the same year. We've had coaches. Anita Myron was a Emerald in January and hit Elite that, I don't think it was her first year, it was like her third year. So understand, it doesn't matter where you sit. I remember the story of Anna Gray. Anna Gray was a discount coach for 2.5 years, and then the next year went Elite because she just was like, what am I doing? And she figured out how to kind of dial in and help others and build this business. So please understand, guys, this is a business you can succeed at. This is a business that if you'll put the time and effort in, if you're already putting the time and effort in, I'm not asking you to put more time in. I'm asking you to look at the time you're already putting into your business and figure out how to align it with your goals and then do the activities that matter. Okay? It's okay if you want to help people and be on the phone with, people in your team and downline and, do whatever kind of calls with all those people. That's great. But dude, you got to chalk that up to service, because if it's not getting you to your goal, it's not working during your business hours. Business hours need to get you towards your business goals. Okay? Scotty, what else you want?
I love it. Thank you, Doug. I love how simple you made it. You know, it's oftentimes we try to complicate things in life, and that keeps it pretty simple. I'm going to remember that and help teach that and help remind everybody that. Hit Success Club. I wrote them down. Hit Success Club. Sign coaches. Teach your coaches to hit Success Club. So we're going to focus on that. I believe there's some guys on here, some people on here that I've even talked to recently that are going to up their goal to premier some newer coaches and some coaches that are just starting out. So we appreciate your help, Doug. We appreciate you hopping on kind of last minute and adding some value to us. And we appreciate that, and it doesn't go unnoticed. So,
well, and I'll throw this out there, Scotty. Anybody who fills out the Premier Goal Guide or the Elite Goal Guide, I would love a copy of it. Send it to me. Message it to me on Facebook. I'd love to see it. And then once I get it, you know, when we get some free time, I'll grab Scotty and we'll call you and we'll talk about it. Because if you're going to go for Elite, we will absolutely put the time into calling you and helping you figure out how to get it done. Like, that's what we do, and we're absolutely all about helping you guys reach that goal.
Awesome. You guys heard it from Doug. So we're going to do that. We'll reach out to you, Doug, and we appreciate your help. We'll see you guys later.
All right, Scotty. Thanks.